Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. What a travesty. What a sad day it was last night for the opening day of the NBA. For it to go down like this. Lebron and Bronny, the sideshow of the NBA. Woo! It's hard for me to do this video, man. It's real hard for me to be an NBA fan and basically watch LeBron James for about a decade now get the red carpet thrown out for him. And to me, not even be a top 10 player. He ruined that when he went to Miami. And it wasn't just because he went to Miami and played with other teams' number one franchise players in the East. But he taunted the league, right? So we all know the NBA basically died from that point on, right? Because no commissioner in any sports league would let anything like that ever happen, right? To his sports league, to where he would be saying, I'm not letting you do that. Where would the competition be in my league, especially in the East, if you do that? Where would be the competition? It won't be competitive no more, right? Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh, cowards, were unable to win on their own teams. And I don't want to don't say nothing about Boston. Boston had the number one seed one time in all those years together, got smoked by Orlando in 2009. So there's no excuse. Boston was old, beat up, shipwrecked. They were finished. LeBron had the number one seed over them two times. So, but we don't want to relive that. I'm just saying at that point, we knew the NBA was basically only a league of entertainment. No more competitiveness. No more competitors. No, where was anybody protesting in the NBA that this was wrong? I'm talking about all the top players at the time. Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, Dirk Nowitzki. I don't care. You don't let something like this happen. And we all know it wasn't successful. That's how bad LeBron is, right? You put anybody else on those teams with Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, in that whole cast of a lot of them was like number twos on any other team, right? His role players. So I'm just saying, you put Tim Duncan, you put Kevin Durant, you put Dirk Nowitzki, you put a lot of them guys at the time with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade and the cast of characters they had in Miami, they win more than 2 rings. Maybe run a 5-peat. Only LeBron James could mess up something that good. Yes, all his teammates were hurt. Why? Because they don't practice. We already know what LeBron James teams does or do. They don't practice, and they beat you off of athleticism. Not fundamentals. Athleticism. That's it. They're going to beat you off of. If you think back, all the teams that put a foot in his ass, what were those teams? They were fundamentally sound, right? When you talk about a Warriors team, you talk about a Spurs team, you talk about even that Mavs team that beat them. These teams were fundamentally sound, and that's why they could beat the LeBron teams, right? So, one more thing last night that confirmed that the NBA is not a real sports league. It was signed, sealed, and delivered that Bronny James made his debut. I think he scored 2 points. This was such a big moment that Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. showed up. How is this comparable? I don't understand how is this comparable? Ken Griffey was a good player, and Ken Griffey Jr. was an all-time player, right? He was like almost like a Michael Jordan. He still got the number one selling baseball shoe. Nobody will ever sell more baseball shoes than this guy. He's a natural. He's like Michael Jordan, a natural. LeBron James isn't a natural at his sport, right? If he was, he wouldn't need to do all these things to his body that he does. Yes, go ahead and go lift some weights or whatever like that. But if you're this a natural guy at your sport, like we've been told, he's so gifted at his sport, but he's got to get 3 times size, 3 times bigger than the guys of his era. While the league got smaller, LeBron got bigger. That's crazy. That's crazy. The most this guy should be doing to have longevity is maybe what? Maybe run up the mountains on off season like a Jerry Rice, do some Stairmasters, do these type of exercises. What do you mean you're lifting weights? What? You're lifting weights to continue to keep playing. So when guys see you coming down the lane at 250, 275, they're like a damn deer in the headlight, get ran over, or maybe they can get away. I mean, is this guy really a basketball player? Or did that end when he left Cleveland? And I keep hearing people say that this guy was gifted and talented and he was, lived up to the hype coming into the league. I'm going to tell you guys, and I keep trying to tell you this. I like people with truthful opinions. I like people who tell it like it is. I like people who don't sugarcoat it and stuff like that. That's why I only listen to certain people on YouTube. Maybe Scab Attack, Angry Old Hoops, Too Raw for TV, a couple other guys. Sports and Fitness. I just see those guys giving it to people uncut. Uncut Hoops, I like him too. Giving it to people uncut and raw. They're not trying to sugarcoat nothing. Now, LeBron, we've talked about this before. LeBron was not the greatest player to come into the NBA. He wasn't the most hyped player to come into the NBA. He didn't live up to all expectations or nothing like that. Because if you keep saying he was the most hyped and he lived up to expectations, well, he didn't make the playoffs his first 2 seasons. He didn't go to the All-Star game his first year. And it wasn't a weaker era. He wasn't coming into the 80s and 90s. So again, we talked about this before. LeBron James, he was the most hyped player coming out of high school. Not the most hyped player coming into the NBA. He was the most hyped player coming out of high school. And for what it means, I don't really know what that means. When you look at him, he was playing against academy school plumbers, right? Go look at the guys he was really playing with or against. We talked about this before. In high school, you're playing against the best of, maybe the best of the guys in your region. And if you're lucky, you're going to play state, right, in the tournament. So you might get one guy or 2 guys that might be a McDonald's All-American, if that, in the whole damn state. And those guys are going to go to some college. But more than likely, you're playing the best of guys who just tried out for the team. In college, you're playing the best of the high school players from around the nation. So I don't see what the big hype was for this guy coming into the NBA, because Kobe got great hype coming into the NBA from high school, but they knew he's playing nobody really. These aren't the best of high school players. He's not in college playing the best of high school players. What that told you with LeBron James is how desperate the NBA really was, right? To have some kind of next star, right? Because in the 90s, in the 80s, the stars were just abundant. They seen what happened to Tracy McGrady. Um, what's his name? Penny Hardaway. The big time stars were really running out as far as abundant of stars like they had in the 80s and 90s. It just wasn't there. So the hope and praying was that LeBron could develop into an all-time great player, which he did. But still, he was not the most hype player coming in the NBA. We talked about Wilt Chamberlain, talked about Bird, we talked about Magic, we talked about, even Hakeem, even Wilt, Kareem, um, Bill Walton. He was pretty hyped coming into the NBA. These guys like that because Grant Hill, Allen Iverson. Why? Because these guys went to college and these guys actually prove themselves. What was the hype all about? I mean, was he killing these guys at the 3-point line or the mid-range or a good free throw shooter, had some paint work? What really was it? So he was dunking on academy school kids, half his damn size. Because if you look, when he was in freshman year, I mean, this dude just grew incredibly. I can't believe how big he grew from year to year to year, from freshman, sophomore, junior to senior. It definitely looked like he was on something. I'm not talking about him getting taller. That's normal. That's just normal when you play basketball, to keep getting taller, keep getting, you get taller year by year, especially when you're in high school. But this dude was jacking out like he was on that stuff back then. Ain't nobody saying nothing about that, right? Ain't nobody saying nothing about that. How this guy came into the league that big. We just leave that alone. But don't confuse the most hype high school player coming into the league versus the most hype player of all time coming into the league, because it's two different things. Now, this right here with Bronny, LeBron in the NBA, in the Lakers, well, I can tell you guys what. We talked about this yesterday. Michael Jordan would never do such a thing. By bringing his sons in, his sons weren't good enough to make it, weren't better than the guys that was in front of him. And he would not disrespect not only these other guys trying to get into the NBA that were better than his sons, but he wouldn't disrespect the current players in the NBA. That would be disrespect to the great players in the NBA. To bring his sons in there for what? Because he's Michael Jordan? Well, that means his sons didn't earn it. Mike wouldn't ever do nothing like that. That would never be on Mike's mantle. Because you know what they would be doing today? They would be killing Mike. Michael Jordan looked for an out as much as he could. And when I talk about that, an out as far as his name being stained. You can't go down too many avenues on Michael Jordan and find something on him. It's rare. I mean, you could say the gambling thing. I mean, what else can you say? Oh, the LeBron fans, of course, they'll say Mike was wrong because he didn't want to get kicked and punched while he was taking a shot, while he was in midair. He didn't want to get kicked and punched for the fourth year in a row. So the NBA got rid of kicking and punching somebody in the air. So Mike was wrong for doing that. That's the only way Mike could win, if he couldn't get kicked and punched while he was in the midair. Could you imagine? Only a LeBron fan would say something like that. Oh man, he went to the commissioner, got the rules changed. No, he didn't. He went to the commissioner and told him, y'all got to start enforcing the rules. You can't be kicking and punching somebody while they're in the mid-air, while they're taking a shot. It's not bad. You can't even do that in football. How's that basketball when you can't even do this in football? You can't kick and punch somebody. If you trip somebody in the NFL, this is a foul. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's like 10. I think that's like 10 yards or something like that. Punching and kicking somebody while they're in the air. Wow. So yeah, when we go back to it, Michael Jordan didn't want too many things, and nobody's perfect. You're always going to find something on everybody. But for LeBron James, this guy seems to not have any integrity. The NBA doesn't either. The Lakers don't either. They don't care about the name of the NBA. They don't care about the name of the Lakers. They don't care about the sideshow. They don't care about the shots they're taking. They don't care about, the hate they're taking. They don't care no more. Anything they can do to get people to still watch this turd. That's the NBA. They will do anything it takes. Nobody's watching this crap. I would love to see the ratings on this. I talked to many people. They said no, they didn't watch it. They just watch it. Woke up and watched the highlights. And looked at the box score. And it wasn't like, oh man, I missed it, man. Bronny scored 15. Bronny was giving Bron alley oops, all this stuff, man. They was doing the weave up and down the court, all this stuff. No, 2 damn points is what Bronny scored in like a couple minutes. That's it. They couldn't even make it worth the fans' while. All this hype about this father and son nonsense, as these fans packed in, as the media was so hyped up, and nothing happened. Nothing. This is the most ridiculous thing you ever seen. I ain't saying the man had to score 20, but give them some excitement. Throw an alley oop to LeBron. Something. Nothing actually happened. That's what's so sad about it. Nothing. There was nothing. Nothing happened. A night to remember of nothing. They wasted everybody's time. For a long time, they wasted everybody's time with this nonsense, and nothing ever happened. It wasn't like, man, yeah, bro, Bronny ain't doing good in the summer league, the preseason. Yeah, we're gonna go out and show them. We're gonna put up some real numbers. We're gonna do something. Father and son duel. Nope, the father was breaking it up too. The father was getting saved by Anthony Davis. Once again, Anthony Edwards. You guys already know I don't like this guy. Where was you at, bro? They got rid of Karl Anthony Towns. You should have put up 35. Now you guys see why I don't like this guy. Because if he was a real OG, if he was a real player, if he was Michael Jordan-esque, guess what? Mike would have been like, you got your son out here? Mike would have dropped 50. Mike would have dropped 50 and found a way to dunk on Bronny's damn head, dunk on LeBron's head. That's what it would have been. It would have been a Michael Jordan show. The only way you would have beat Mike that night, something crazy would have had to happen because Mike would have put up like 50, 55 points. That ain't Anthony Edwards. This is the weakest, softest era, and this guy can't go out and drop 35 points, 40 points, and spoil the party. Remember, here's the guy, same guy in the Olympics. Hey, watch out for me. You got benched. The only way LeBron would even let you play a bagless dude with no real skills, no jumper, no paint work, can't dribble, can't shoot free throws, poor rebounder. The only way LeBron was going to let you play is if you came off, on the team, if you came off the bench. Because you got beat by plumbers in the 23 FIBA, right? You got beat by international plumbers. And didn't even medal. Didn't even get a bronze. This is the next Michael. So all this guy can do is sit down and have these little, whatever you want to call them, back and forth with people, and they ask him these stupid questions, and he say stupid stuff. Try to be funny guy. This is your new NBA. These aren't real basketball players. These are supposed to be guys that's supposed to be making 30, 40, and 50 million a year, taking this stuff serious while people is out there barely making it. You deserve 30, 40, and 50 million dollars a year while people can barely damn pay their bills and eat out here. And you can't come out here and take this game serious? You can't play real basketball? You're letting international plumbers run this damn league? You, wow. Wow. The moment that never happened. LeBron and Bronny, the moment that never happened. Oh, what Michael Jordan and his son score on the debut? That's what they'll say. Mike would never disrespect a game like this. If his son made it in this era into the game, coming out of college, putting up them stats, Michael Jordan's sons were all-stars in it. They would be all-stars in this league. And for people like, that's what I'm saying. Michael Jordan would never disrespect the players in the league at that time by doing something like that. Right? So for LeBron James to disrespect, Joker, Luka, KD, Booker, Anthony Edwards, Tatum, Jaylen Brown, all the great players, Shea, Wembanyama, all the great players in the league by bringing his son in here and disrespecting these great players and even more. And those great players say nothing about it? It tells you that it's a fake, rigged league. Because let me try to tell you something. I don't give a damn. Back in the 80s or 90s, you would have had rumors floating around everywhere in disgust of somebody coming in and getting a guaranteed contract that averaged 4 points in a damn college and getting in because of his daddy. They still would have been talking. Wouldn't nobody shut them up? People talk, oh, you can't talk Klutch Sports. So let me tell you about Klutch Sports. We keep talking about, if we go with the narrative that Klutch Sports is a boogeyman, you're actually going to believe that, right? You're actually going to believe such a lie. Who is the boogeyman? You got to spot out who's the boogeyman? Is it Rich Paul? Who is it? Is it LeBron James? This soft, weak, girly dude? Who is it? It's a lie. Klutch Sports is a branch of the NBA, right? It's part of the entertainment that they'll never tell you about. There's no such thing as Klutch Sports without the NBA, right? Because Klutch Sports can't say nothing, talk, or anything in their league unless the NBA says you can do anything. All this stuff with these players come out and say all this dumb stuff. Anthony Edwards, KD says some dumb stuff. LeBron. This is all the NBA. They have to get approved by the NBA to say this stuff. The NBA runs these dudes. You just can't say stuff like that without the NBA approval. And of course, the NBA tells them to say these things so they can advertise their sport and have people talking about their sport, views, whatever like that, because it's a dying league. It's been a dying league for a hot minute now. But if you want to go like big time, since it hit 2020. Since 2020, it's got the worst ratings in the regular season, playoffs, finals, and holiday games. So what I'm trying to tell you, Klutch Sports is fake. It's so you guys can talk about, oh, LeBron and Klutch Sports. Klutch Sports did this. And you can't. Klutch Sports is fake. The NBA made Klutch Sports. We gotta deal with reality sometimes. That's the reality of it. The NBA and Klutch Sports is the same entity. I know you're not, oh man, I looked it up. They're not under the it's entertainment. The NBA is nothing but entertainment now. It's not a real sport. It's been like that for a hot minute. Their league started to die, and they started all this, the debate shows and all this stuff, and distant past players, all this stuff. The GOAT debate, that's the only way they could keep their league alive. They saw this. Once LeBron played, this is what they always wanted, right? You got Tim Duncan in the finals, the big fundamental, and you got LeBron James, the king, the most hyped guy of all time, all this stuff. 2007 finals, what happened? The NBA ratings pooped a turd. Nobody was watching it. Nobody cared about the big fundamental and LeBron James. And before you say, oh man, it's Tim Duncan. Nobody just wanted to see Tim Duncan. Michael Jordan played two plumbers. I mean, not two plumbers. Well, you could say Jeff Hornacek and John Stockton, but y'all say Michael Jordan's competition was crap. And he played plumbers. But you're trying to tell me people want to see on a record-breaking tip the 97, 98 finals? People want to see this? This garbage? I'm not trying to say the '07 finals had to be what the 97 or the 98 finals was, but the '07 finals was one of the lowest rating finals of all time. The NBA knew they was in trouble. Nobody wanted to see LeBron. Nobody, and so they eventually, by the time we got to 2000, when he went to Miami, they really had to start marketing this guy. And they started out with First Take. It started coming on 2012 with Stephen A. Smith and Skip, right? And Stephen A. Smith would be the defender. He would be the butt kisser for LeBron. Because you had Chris Broussard. He would come on, what was it, Cold Pizza, whatever that thing was, and he would start to defend LeBron at first. But they needed people to actually lie about this guy, how good he was, his career, all this stuff starting in about 2012, because what they seen from him, from when he came in the league all the way until 2010, he was not that guy. He did not pass the eye test. He couldn't kill you on the perimeter. He couldn't shoot free throws. He couldn't give you no paint work. He really wasn't this Magic Johnson that people were saying. He really couldn't run a damn offense like Magic Johnson. He was, they wanted to make him into something, and they put so much investment in him that he could not, it wasn't coming to fruition. So that's why they let the whole Miami thing happen. I would like to know this guy's real genealogy, see who he's really related to, because I don't see what's so good about this guy. When I seen Magic play, Jordan, Kareem, I wasn't allowed to see Wilt play, but I've seen highlights. All these guys in the top five. For me, Michael Jordan, Wilt, Kareem, Russell, Magic. LeBron ain't even on their level. And he ain't better than Hakeem. He's not better than Kobe. He's not better than a lot of these guys. I'll take Charles Barkley. You put Charles Barkley on a team with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh? Man, they're going to win like 6 championships. What are you talking about? You put Charles Barkley on the same team with Kyrie Irving and Love. Man, them dudes going to win about 3 championships. Come on, man. So, yeah. LeBron's entire career is built off of just barreling to the basket and doing dunks and layups. Yes, he can hit some shots sometimes from the outside, but nothing consistent. He even looks weird when he shoots jumpers. A football player ain't supposed to be out there shooting jumpers. That's just how the dudes that big ain't supposed to be out there shooting jumpers. Karl Malone went out there shooting jumpers. He could hit you a little mid-range sometimes from a little bit outside the paint consistently, but most of his game was in the paint, right? And he would get you the rebounds. LeBron ain't gonna get you the rebounds. It's a fake career. And I don't know what's wrong with the NBA. I really don't know why they haven't moved on. It's so many better players than him. I'm looking at Victor Wembanyama. I'm talking about overall players. I mean, they're gonna dwarf him when they get down playing. Victor Wembanyama, Joker, Luka, Shea. Who knows? Maybe Anthony Edwards if he stopped playing like a child. It's just so many great players that are going to have a better career than this guy. And it don't matter if they even put back in defense. Like, when is the NBA going to get back to NBA basketball? Everybody's catering to a guy who's 4-6, 6 finals blowouts, never seen a game 7 in all his losses, 2 statistical titles. I mean, we could just go on and on and on. Like, what's the big deal with this guy? He chokes, he melts down. Ain't got no paint moves. Ain't got no mid range. Ain't got no 3. Can't shoot free throws. I mean, what is it? What's so? Because you can go back to these guys I mentioned in my top 5. You'd be like, man, Magic was known for this. Jordan was known for this. Kareem was known for this. Wilt was known for this. Bill Russell was known for this. If not two-way players or different things about their game. What is LeBron really known for? Nobody knows. That's what I'm saying. What is so interesting about this guy? There's nothing interesting or intelligent about the way he talks, the way he carries himself, the way he does anything. It's just like this guy is like the damn a clown in a circus. That's it. That pisses people off and have people talk. Like, if nobody responded to anything he did, which everything he does is just like to piss people off, just about a lot of stuff he says and does, the NBA would be dead. This guy would have to retire. But everybody in the YouTube community, they keep responding to what he did, what he said, how he played. And this is what fuels this guy to keep playing. Because if everybody just said nothing and it was about his play, about the Lakers play, he'd be gone. He'd be out of here. It wouldn't be nothing to talk about. His career would be over. But the YouTube community is the fuel to keep this guy playing. And really, the fuel to keep this NBA afloat, really, because it's trash. And it's trash because of him. Because I really think it could get more competitive. I think they could even change some rules to where men play like men again, right? Because they stopped playing like men for this guy, right? So he can charge the lane and do dunks and layups. And the thing about his fans, they'll talk about every other era is not good as this era, but he's not this era guy. He's not a 2020 guy. This is a shooting era. He's not a shooter. So when you're trying to compare this era to 80s and 90s, where does that leave LeBron James? LeBron James wasn't even a shooter in the damn 210s that era was. It was more of a shooter's era back then. Not like now completely, but he'd never been a shooter. They had to take out defense because this guy's not a defender. They had to take out defense. So because he can't shoot, now you got to charge the lane. Making dunks and layups. They literally had to stop playing defense to make this guy look good. Right? You see him out there dribbling. And in the 80s and 90s, they would just rip him. This guy ain't got no bag. You could just... Look, a lot of times, you would have to... The defenders were so good back in 80s and 90s, you just couldn't sit there and dribble in front of their face. You just couldn't sit there and dribble with the ball out like that in front of you. You would have to back up half the time. As good as Magic Johnson, he would have to dribble with his back towards the defender. That's how good a damn defenders they were. These guys aren't good defenders today. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get off this, man. But yeah, that's the circus, the disrespect of NBA fans, the league, the organizations, and the players of the current NBA to let Bronny come in and do something like this. It's just total disrespect. Only LeBron could do something like this. And for none of these players to not say nothing, this is real. This ain't just father and son moment that was earned. He even said in an interview after the post game, he said, they gave me the opportunity. Yes, they gave it to you. You didn't earn it. This was something that wasn't earned. Going to the NBA is like winning the damn lottery. Basically, it is. You know how many kids each year try to go to a professional sports league? It's like hitting a lottery. All they did was get Bronny to the winning ticket. They gave Bronny the winning ticket. He didn't win. So hopefully, the ratings keep going down the drain, because this is one of the most disrespect. And like I said, they didn't even try to be like, oh, we're going to change people's mind. We're going to come out here and give them like 12, 15 points or something like this. Nope. Nope. Nothing happened. The magical moment wasn't there. They selling jerseys. They selling Bronny merch. They're doing all this stuff for nothing. Not a good player. It's like you going buying Nikes without the damn check mark on the side of it. And they saying, oh man, these Nikes, man. I mean, it's real strange, man. If you just grew up like back in the days, in the 80s and 90s when I did, and I turned adult when I was 2000, in the 2000s, early 2000s. And man, this shit right here is just some weirdo stuff.